From the Writer's Secrets article series, we're reaching out to you, Dr. Lant, nagging problems and irritating gobbledegook at the Guardian Life Company Insurance Company of America, the Titans that just doesn't get it, by Dr. Jeffrey Lant. Dr. Lant?
I hope that all of you will use this article to fairly well. I know that you've all had problems with customer service, so-called customer service. It's a joke. This article will show you what to do about it. It should be passed along to any and all of your friends because there isn't a person reading this article that doesn't have this problem one time or another. If you are one of the handful of folks who believes customer service is better today than at any time you care to name, read this article carefully because you are deluded, thinking no doubt that say representative isn't the beginning of the cruel and unusual punishment that it is. As for the rest of you, you're going to be mighty glad I wrote this, since you've taken it long enough and should distribute these sentiments to anyone everywhere who has been insulted by these fighting words. You're reaching out to you. For the music, I have chosen for this article a little ditty by protest songster Malvina Reynolds, 1900-1978. I must confess, from the eminence of my penthouse across the street from Harvard Law School, and a lifetime of preppified clothes whose style never changes, never mind I am now a bit long in the tooth for my undeniable chic, I must confess, I say, that Malvina has never been, and likely will never be, one of my favorite chanteuses. Her visage, and please understand that I am merely stating the obvious, passing no judgment whatsoever, resembles something adorning Notre Dame de Paris. Her voice is like a frog aspiring to greatness. The tout ensemble distresses me, who grew up with a stylish mother for whom the strict code of Chanel answered every fashion question. But then there are Malvina's words, and they overawe every reservation whatsoever. I have often said and insisted my students understand, particularly those who aspire to gain points by proclaiming they intend to become writers, like you, Dr. Knight, that a good writer must have rage, for only the forge of rage produces truth, the rarest commodity on earth, and the real reason our civilization is on death watch. Malvina hath wrath, Malvina hath rage, and that is why I have returned to her frequently over these 50 years, although I often wish she would iron her clothes before each performance and put just a dollop of coating behind each ear. I was going to select as the official song for this article Malvina's catchy thrust Baraxo. It's got just the peppy tune we need to get up and at 'em. But the chorus, while apropos, goes just a hair farther than this incident warrants. We're talking, after all, about stupidity, insensitivity, and cluelessness, after all, not murder. See for yourself by finding the song in any search engine. It's all right, it's all right. Where you've had your hands in blood up to the elbow, you could always wash them clean with Boraxo. And your conscience is washed clean with Boraxo. Instead, I have chosen her grim ballad, The Money Crop, with its sharp, unrelenting message for sharp, unrelenting capitalists, all suave in sincerity, helpful only by accident, reaching out in phrase only. Well, money has its own way, and money has to grow. It grows on human blood and bones, as any child would know. And those who take the money crop are avid without end. Some background. You should know I am no troublemaker, never have been. I am of the live and let live temperament, but I can and do rail against people who are put in positions of authority and either cannot or will not do jobs for which they're being paid, complaining the while their pay is insultingly inadequate. A joke, when it's they who are insultingly inadequate. A joke. You should know I have been a customer at Guardian Life Insurance Company of America for a long, long time. Think decades, not just years. I am, if I do say so myself, an ideal customer. Conservative, no axes to grind, contacting them only when I have timely and appropriate business at hand. Being that I have no children, no wife, no former wives, no ball and chain, or other obstacles to consider, I use GIAC as a slush fund for acquisitions for my art collection, where J.P. Morgan's celebrated quotation applies. If you have to ask, you can't afford it. On that basis, I have created a celebrated art collection where I scatter my money with joy, exultation, and often breathless audacity and sang-froid. My policy at the Guardian has been a help in achieving my lifetime objective, until just the other day when a passel of customer service representatives destroyed a relationship that had been good for all. Here are the facts, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Your Honor. I hope every employee at Guardian reads this and feels ashamed to know the good work of many is destroyed by the ineptitude of a few, still a few too many. If you have never borrowed money from an insurance company, you may not know doing so is easy. You simply complete a short form, which you can these days download from the net or call customer service to have the form mailed by post, fax, or email. Completion of the form should take, 20 minutes or so. Not more. This, I say, is the theory of the matter. The Guardian has manned its portals with people who have turned something straightforward and smooth into an exercise in bumble and muddle. Let's see how they did it. No, you don't need a medallion. I called GIAC, was on hold for the regulation 15 to 20 minutes, so common an irritant it scarcely bears mentioning. In due course, a representative responded and emailed me with the necessary form. Everything was clear, maybe. I particularly noted the section that dealt with the medallion signature guarantee. Simply called the medallion, it is a special signature guarantee for the transfer of securities. It is a guarantee by the transferring financial institution that the signature is genuine and the financial institution accepts liability for any forgery. The form was clear that the sum to be transferred was not sufficient to require a medallion. Now I am an old fox, wary and battle-scarred, thus I made a point of confirming, not just once either, that I did not require a medallion for this transaction. I was assured, not just once either, that I did not require a medallion. And so I popped the finished form in the mail. It should have concluded the matter, but of course it didn't. I received a call from GIAC, later confirmed in writing. The form I submitted had inadequate information. It needed a medallion. The reason given that my signature didn't match the signature of my last transaction. I would have to trek up to my bank and start all over again. Yes, I was beginning to smolder. Of course, things only got worse and more disorganized, more and more provoking. They told me I'd filled out the wrong form altogether. Never mind, they supplied the form in the first place. They said in my plea for any knowledgeable authority to intervene and expedite that the matter had been forwarded to management. You may imagine why I thought that would be just another level of incompetence. And then the coup de grace. We're reaching out to you, Dr. Lant. Clearly, the low-level muppets handling what was no longer a simple matter of issuing a check had lost control of the situation, looking like fools and acting like the bank of Dogpatch. They needed help and didn't know how to get it. What's more, the more they bumbled, the more certain my next move had to be. I wanted a solution, and canceling my long-term insurance was now the rising option. Predictably, GIAC's elite team could offer nothing better than reaching out, infuriating because they, not I, needed the help, and needed it at once. I needed the certainty that working with a significant financial institution should provide. I got Keystone Cops. Not good enough, not merely good enough at all, and so I canceled my account. It should never have come to this, but because it did, and because incompetence in one department at least suggests the possibility of incompetence in another, I am not only sending this report to management, starting with the president of this gang that couldn't shoot straight, Deanna M. Mulligan. More important, I am asking every reader to pass this report on, remembering that forewarned is forearmed. Finally, most important of all, I herewith invoke the indomitable Malvina Reynolds. The song is The Little Mouse, and it should constitute must listening amongst the high muckety mucks at 7 Hanover Square, Manhattan. A little mouse got into the wires, at the Central Clearinghouse in Buenos Aires. One little mouse short circuited the computers. So much for the electronic brains that run the world of banks and aeroplanes. And if one little mouse can set them all awry, why not you and I? Yes, you can sue or chew the wires through, thereby truly becoming the formidable mouse that roars. We need you.
Excellent article, Dr. Lant, and giving us more power to stand up and voice our complaints.